Hello landlords and welcome back to the Landlord Advocates, where we help landlords become better landlords. Monday night, there was a Facebook Live presentation by Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. She represents Bronx and the Queens in New York. You probably know a lot about her. She's been making the news with a lot of radical ideas. Her and other panelists presented information about rent strikes, not paying rent, rent cancellation, forgiveness of rent. A lot of stuff was said Monday night, and when I tell you what was said, wow. Here we go. Cia Weaver, who is in charge of the Housing Justice Forum, which I mentioned before in previous videos. That is an umbrella group made up of over 70 organizations that are tenants' rights, advocates, and the like. Her business position that she had last night was that rent and utilities should be canceled for everyone, and that the corporate landlord should take the hit for that. Why should they? The debt was incurred by tenants. Why should a corporate landlord or anyone else assume that debt? The debt belongs to the tenant. They are responsible to pay the rent, not corporate landlords or any landlord for that matter. The Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, or she goes by AOC, some of her ideas, some of her quotes. Here's one. People's lives should not be threatened with a fear of eviction. How is telling a tenant you haven't paid the rent, I'm going to have to evict you? How is that putting them in fear of their life? Being served an eviction notice and the sheriff or marshal putting you out is not a threat to your life. It's life. The other idea that she had was to put deferred mortgage payments, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever may be deferred, to the end of your mortgage payments. That way there, the tenants would never have to pay that money back to you. They'd never have to pay it all. How does that make the landlord feel? How's that supposed to make you happy that she says, we'll put those payments on the end of your mortgage? What does it matter? You'll pay it. The tenant should be paying that. Not you, the mortgage holder. The tenant should be paying that. Another speaker, another panelist last night, Maria Seguera. She's from the group Woodside on the Move that claims to have over 5,000 tenants in that organization. She put a plea out for representatives of the people, whether it be local, state, federal, whomever that may be. She put a plea out to please appeal to the governor because your community is being killed, we are dying, was her claim. Community is being killed, we are dying because you're being told you have to pay the rent? Little extreme, don't you think? Another woman, Winsome Prendergrass, from New York Communities for Change. That woman was theatrical, she was dramatic. I was waiting for an arm to come across the screen to present her with an Emmy Award for Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. Why do I say that? Here's some of the things that she said. Her claim is that tenants use 3 to 4 weeks of their pay to pay the rent for the month. So therefore, all of your pay is going towards your rent? It's her allegation. Wait, what about toiletries? What about food? What about insurance? What about any other expenses that you may have as a tenant? You're claiming that you have no money allowed to have you take your 4 weeks of pay and you pay your rent? Little extreme. Her quote, we are going to be harassed, persecuted, shamed, and hauled into court by the landlords when this whole fiasco, this whole pandemic has ceased and everything reopens. Okay, persecuted? The landlord is not persecuting you. They are not harassing you. They're not hauling you into court. They're asking that you come to court to speak to the judge and inform the judge why your rent is not being paid or why the landlord should not have to evict you. The landlord should be able to evict you. You haven't paid the rent, for whatever reason it might be. Another one, and this is where I was waiting for the Emmy to come across the screen. We cannot pay unless it is with our blood. How much blood do we have to give? Really, Winsome? I wish I had an Emmy, I'd mail it to you. Blood, you have to pay the rent. It's an obligation that you have. Many people lose their jobs throughout the year, or they come into a financial crisis in their life. That doesn't mean we abdicate their responsibility to pay the rent. You pay it. Maybe make payments. Try to stay current with what you have. It's life. It's life. The other thing that she mentioned, and the fellow panelists that were with me watching this video, we all concluded that her following statement was inflammatory and almost seemed threatening to Governor Cuomo. She's pushing for everybody to tell the governor to please sign legislation because you represent us, the tenants. We want you to sign legislation to cancel rent. Okay. Last time I knew Winsome, Governor Cuomo represented every New Yorker, tenant and landlord alike. This was her quote. You better wise up, Governor Cuomo, because you are going to start something that you cannot end. What does she mean by that? Does she mean something as innocent as a letter writing campaign, a get out the vote campaign? Or does it go even further? Does it go to rioting, looting, burning down buildings, burning up cars? What does she mean by you're going to start something that you cannot end? The people that were watching the video with me concurred that seemed to be a threat to Governor Cuomo. Another gentleman from Vocal, New York, A.J. Wanza Williams, he said that housing is a human right. I know housing is nice and it'd be nice if everybody had it, but the last time I knew from the Constitution, housing is not a right afforded to people. It is something that you have by working hard to pay your rent, or like us, working hard to acquire the funds to buy multiple properties. But never once was housing a right to me or anyone else. His claim is that there are 100,000 homeless people in New York, and that with all these hotel rooms that are empty because there's no tourists, that they should be put into those hotels immediately. He goes on further to claim that the hotel workers that are on furlough or laid off, unemployed, can now be brought back to work into those hotels because now we have all these homeless people living in those hotels. Does that mean that the homeless individuals that are living in those hotels are now going to have maid service? They're going to have room service? No, they shouldn't be getting that. Hotels should not be told you have to open up the door to homeless people, or anybody for that matter, and let them live there for free. Ridiculous concept. Ridiculous. Let me go back to the Representative Cortez and some of the things that she added to her presentation. We are prioritizing greed and profits and asset prices over human life and the right to live under a roof. What? Prioritizing greed and profits? No, it's called business, Miss Cortez. It's called business. Retailers do it, wholesalers do it, oil companies do it, landlords do it. We provide you with something and we get profit back from that. That's economics. That's democracy. That's what we do. She said, I cannot think of a single reason why rent should go up next year unless just for profiteering. It's not just for profiteering, Cortez. It's not for that. There's other expenses related to having properties. Her assertion is that most mortgages are fixed. Therefore, your loan is a fixed rate and don't go up and don't go down. So therefore, why should other bills go up? Why should rent have to go up? Why are you squeezing the tenants for more money? We're not squeezing them for more money. We're asking them to pay expenses that have been increased upon us, the landlords. What? Does Cortez not believe that insurance is going to go up? Taxes are going to go up? What about in a lot of these big buildings where you have so many people that you have extermination services every month? You know that they want their money, you know that they're going to raise their prices? What about ancillary costs like snow removal, ice removal? What about roofs that may need to get repaired, appliances that may break, hot water tanks that may break, furnaces that may need to be fixed or replaced? Those are all high-end expenses that guaranteed, Ms. Cortez, those prices are going to go up. That's just the way it is. She is pushing for a state and federal rent cancellation. She is in support of the earlier bill that I mentioned, H.R. 6515, which is the Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act of 2020 that is sponsored by Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from Minnesota. Cortez did not even know if she co-sponsored the bill or not. If I haven't, I will. Was her assertion last night, or Monday night, when you're seeing this video, Monday night on her Facebook Live presentation that was about 1 hour, to stop all this rent, stop utilities, stop us big landlords and even the small mom and pop in our tracks from displacing these desperate tenants that claim that they can't pay their rent for whatever reason. She is pushing support of that bill. I don't know how many of her supporters are going to go along with that, probably all of them, but we as landlords have to stand up to Cortez, Omar, other representatives that share their same mindset, these advocates that share their same mindset. Without regard to us as landlords, without regard to the real estate industry as it will affect the entire United States if all of this is to happen. Landlords, there's a lot of information there. Eat it up, consume it. There's going to be a lot more coming. Subscribe to our channel so you can be the next one in line to learn more about what's going on here in New York and America so that you can stand up for your rights as a landlord. Subscribe.